Hey everyone, Adam with Antique Auto. Welcome back to the channel. I'm working on the 71 GS Stage 1 4-speed convertible. You may remember from a couple episodes ago where I honestly can't remember what I did. I did the top motor bleeding and some other little trinky stuff. I've got a couple of little things to do today, and then I think we're going to take it out for a spin. There is a problem with the brights not working, and I'm already kind of messing around with it. I'll kind of show you what I got going here. Okay, I'm already dug in here. I've got the dimmer switch out. All of the power for the headlights goes through this switch, whether it be bright or dim. All it does is take one power and it switches between these two guys here. So when you hit the switch, it runs power to one or the other. So to test this switch, all you've got to do is turn the headlight switch on and then run a jumper from the constant power to one side or the other to see if your brights or your standard headlights come on. Just like this, I've got it from the constant power, which is that single spade, and going down to one of the other spades here. I'm gonna check real quick. So I've got my standard low beams on right now, and I'm going to switch it for the other one. Let's see if I can do this one-handed without killing myself here. Nope. Okay. We are sloppily swapped to the other spade, and we have brights, which means our dimmer switch is bad. So the problem I was having in this car was the standard low beams would work, but the brights were not working. So the first place I usually look is this dimmer switch. Even though this thing looks brand new, that doesn't mean anything. You know, we've all had bad parts out of the box. So I gotta run to the store real quick and grab one of these, and I'll pop it in. The other big problem I had with this thing was that the wipers weren't working. And so I went over here inside the engine compartment and checked for power at this yellow wire. It doesn't matter which one of this is for the washer, and the other yellow runs to the center spade on the motor. Both of them share a wire, so you can just check for power here. As long as the key is on, you've got power. If you got power here, then you got something going on inside the motor. Also in the chassis manual, you will read how to jump these wires and figure out if the wiper motor is working or not. So here's the motor that came out of the car, and I found out pretty quickly that it wasn't any good by doing the tests stated in the manual. What I found out was that I guess you call this some sort of a resistor. Yeah, it looks like a 20 ohm resistor was basically just gone. So thankfully we had one that was professionally rebuilt to Concord condition. I still have to get a decal on it, but that's it right there. I actually had the washer off because I was trying to do some diagnosing when I put this one in the car. So with the new wiper motor in the car, it still didn't work. But what I did notice is that when I took a peek in here and turned the key on, it would slowly turn until it was in the park position. So I knew it was getting some sort of juice. So I ended up hitting the button and I watched it, and it ran really, really, really slow, like to the point almost not being able to see that it was running. And then when I turned it back off at the switch, it would repark. So I did have power at the motor. I just thought maybe it was binding or something. And so I started taking off, the washer to see if there was something weird going on there. But it ended up to where if I completely removed the switch from the equation and hooked it up to a separate battery source, and I jumped the wires per the manual, it worked. So I knew I had something going on with either the wiring or the switch in the car. Now, I didn't record this process because I was already 2/3 of the way through before I decided I was going to record it. So there are 3 screws that hold this thing on behind the dash, and they are extremely difficult to get to. I ended up taking this bottom piece off, and I dropped the column. And I also, you basically had to just reach my hand up there and hand unscrew these 3 screws. There is a ground post that has to remain. I also took the headlight switch out to gain a little bit of room when I was taking these screws out. So what I did was take the old switch out. I actually took it apart. Ouch, hit my head. And it's, the switch is serviceable, but I had like 10 of the switches on the shelf. So I went ahead and just found a nice clean one that felt like it was in good shape. And I ohmed out the connectors here to see if it was actually working. This one ohmed out okay, but it had high resistance on one of the positions. Actually, it had a high resistance on one, and then it was infinity on the other. So something is going on in here where it's not connecting real well. Looks like it's pretty dirty. So I ended up just taking a switch that I knew was working, and I cleaned it and took a gamble and threw it in the car, and it worked like a charm. So now the only fight I have left is just getting everything back together in here, putting this back down, getting everything cleaned up, putting the washer pump back on. And what else do I have to do in here? I went ahead and put all this stuff back together already. I believe that's pretty much it on all the weird little electrical gremlins on this car. I'm gonna go buy a headlight switch for this thing, and then I will come back, get it installed, and I'm gonna see if I can get this phone hooked up somehow on the seats to where I can take you for a ride. New one. $20 from the parts store. Hopefully it works. All right, here it is plugged in. So before you actually install this thing, it's a good idea to get it, check it. You don't have to have anything grounded or anything. It just, all this does is switch power from post to post. And I did that and it works. So we're gonna toss it in. If you notice, the harness connector actually bolts in under the dimmer switch, so it cannot come out under the carpet. The earlier designs were not like this. They just kind of clasped on the sides, and that was it. You can kind of see the clasps here, but they did not have this extra flap that kept it under the deal. I'm not sure why they changed the design, but definitely helps keep it together. All right, I've got that somewhat tucked in there. I think most of you know that I've been sorting this car out after it had been restored, and every corner I turn, there's another surprise. So before I noticed all this up here, there's a wide open hole, no grommet for the speedo cable. And then this is all wide open. There's no seal at the steering column. So now I have to stop and get seals for this thing. Well, a seal and a grommet anyway. Cool. Well, here's another thing for the list. Thankfully, I had an extra set of these. These were completely missing on this car. They're splash shields that go on the inner fender well on the front. Can't really see there, but right up in there, they were not there. So I'm gonna get these installed real quick, then I'm gonna see if I can get this thing on the road. Okay, with the help of my wife, she's gonna videotape this. In the passenger seat, cold start, set the choke. cold-blooded for the first 30 seconds or so. Here we go. Manual steering. First and second gears. They're all whiny. Well, it sure is different trying to steer a manual steering car because the ratio is different. You really have to work to make sure you want it to go where it's supposed to go. We'll wait for our buddy to get out of the way. Car runs good though.
Good thing it has seatbelts. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and the tires are in questionable shape, but I'm not taking any highways right now. I'm just hitting back roads to make sure this thing is where it needs to be mechanically. And see what she does. A little bit of detonation in wide open throttle. Check timing. Probably has a little bit of bad gas still in it. I put 10 gallons of good stuff in before we got on the road, but usually it takes a little while for that stuff to go away.
Can we do that again?
As soon as we get rid of this truck, we will. Fucking kings. Try not to get in it too hard. Brakes are good. It's got disc brakes on it. I'm surprised because this car is really not very high. Their options. Got AM radio, batwing steering wheel, no AC, manual steering.
Sure is fun though.
Power disc brakes. Gotta have that to stop the car though. I like it. I don't shift like Mike though. Let's do one more little rip on it and then we'll go home.
Okay.
And get past Fred's farm here. You can probably see my tracks from yesterday. I don't know where they are. There they are right there. Let's make another set. I really want to hold on it, but it keeps detonating. Wipers quit on me again. Just gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that. What the hell happened there? Runs good. Just need to put some good gas in it. Double check the timing, make sure nothing's too far advanced on it. Yep. Coming around. Well, that's pretty much a wrap for this car. I still have a little bit of tuning and windshield wiper situation to take care of, but I think you know, it's about ready to go. Still need to put a set of tires on this thing if we want to drive it, so should get that on the list too. But I think that is going to do it for me. I've had quite an influx of new subscribers lately, so I appreciate it, and I hope you keep watching and sharing and tell all your friends and family about me. I will see you on the next video. Stop the press. I need to tell you this because I did not catch it the first time. If you ever remove or replace the washer pump assembly, you have to align this guy correctly with the motor. So in order to do that, there's a hole right here and another indexing hole inside the housing. You have to turn this counterclockwise, depending on which way you're looking at it, and insert a 1/8 inch rod to keep it aligned. Keep it in there, and then you can install it. That way this actually aligns with the pump arm that's controlling this washer. Otherwise, it's gonna get stuck under here and do what you saw. It'll just run up just a touch and it'll burn the fuse up and cause issues. So I don't know, just wanted to clear that up. So get that in, screw it back on, pull the alignment pin out, and you'll be set.